of Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Arizona.
Well, the finish line to this road trip is within sight. 2 more games to go here in Miami. It's been a great trip so far for the D-backs. 6 wins in 8 games. And tonight, our second rotation returnee in this series. Robbie Ray is back. It's D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Marlins Park, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. The third of a 4-game series here in Miami. And tonight, the D-backs get their all-star left-hander bat. Robbie Ray returns, Bob, after missing 2 months with that oblique strain.
Yeah, made the National League All-Star team last year. That was right here in Miami, as a matter of fact. Robbie making his return to the rotation. You see what he was able to do in his 6 starts before going on the disabled list. 45 punch-outs in 27 and 2/3 innings. One thing you always have to watch for with Robbie is too many pitches. He tends to throw a lot of pitches in each of his innings of work. Hopefully that won't be the case here tonight.
And his first start since the end of April, they'll be watching every pitch very closely. He's up against Wei-Yin Shen for the Marlins, who has struggled this year, although in this ballpark he's pitched pretty well.
Yeah, in 4 starts here in Miami, he's 1-0 with an ERA just over 2.5 in 7 road games. However, opponents are hitting .361. He's got a 1-4 record with a .985 ERA. D-backs have to find a way to get through to him here at home tonight.
Couple of left-handers matched up as the D-backs look for their second straight win here at Marlins Park. It's D-backs baseball. First pitch coming up on Fox Sports Arizona.
D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Arizona is brought to you by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box.
And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. D-backs at Marlins Park in Miami. Robbie Ray, his first start since April, up against Wei-Yin Chen. And the first pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Where the roof and outfield panels are closed up, it is muggy and humid here in Miami. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthew, Bob Renly, Tom Walsh with you. The third of a 4-game set, the D-backs and the Marlins. Diamondbacks 6-2 so far on this 10-game road trip with 2 more here to go. 1 tonight and a getaway day game tomorrow afternoon. As far as the lineup for tonight's matchup, here it is for Toy Labello's D-backs. It's presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
John Jay leading it off out in right field. Nick Ahmed moves up, plays shortstop, batting second against a lefty. Paul Goldschmidt will be at first base. John Ryan Murphy behind the plate once again tonight with David Peralta in left field. Ketel Marte at second base. Chris Owings plays center field tonight with Devin Marrero at third, and left-hander Robbie Ray back on the mound.
D-backs continue playing well away from Chase Field. They've moved up now 4 games over 500 on the road. They've won 9 of their last 11 road games. Playing well here, Bob.
Yeah, and the Diamondbacks really just taking care of business. Now, we know the Pirates have struggled this year. We know the Marlins are struggling, somewhat of a rebuild going on here in South Florida, but that's what you're supposed to do to struggling teams. Come into their place, win a series, move along.
Yeah, Miami's 16 games under 500, last in the National League East. The Marlins 14 games behind division leading Atlanta as they take the field, and we are just about set to go. Your Ram Truck starting pitcher for Miami, Wei-Yin Chen, 32-year-old left-hander. Just 2 wins and 11 starts this year, an ERA that's nearly 7. He's been hit pretty hard this year.
Yeah, he really has. He's basically a 4-seam fastball slider pitcher. His slider is his best ground ball pitch, his best swing and a miss pitch. He also will mix in a changeup and curveball in equal amounts.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the Miami defense here tonight.
Cameron Maybin will be out in left field tonight with Lewis Brinson in center. Brian Anderson over in right field. Yadiel Rivera getting the start at third base. Miguel Rojas slides over to shortstop tonight with Starlin Castro at second. Derek Dietrich moving into the infield. He'll play first base. Brian Holiday once again behind the plate for the lefty Wei-Yin Chen.
And behind the plate for the umpires, Dan Bellino will be calling the balls and strikes. Tom Hallion's in the jackpot, the crew chief at first base, Adam Hamari at second, and Phil Cuzzy is our third base umpire. It is once again a sparse and quiet crowd here as we get set for the third of this 4-game series at Marlins Park. Roof and panels were open most of the afternoon on Monday, but they were closed most of today. It was a little more muggy out there today than it was earlier this week.
Yeah, they kept the lid and panels closed all day today because of that humidity, and still feel quite a bit of it inside the ballpark, but not nearly as bad as it would be if the roof were open.
Oh, from the U, the Miami native John Jay set to lead us off. D-backs will play this game tonight, and then a 10:05 a.m. start Arizona time tomorrow. Zach Greinke will pitch in the series and road trip finale. Been a quiet series for John Jay. 302 on the year, but 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts in his return to his hometown. He was a second-round pick out of the U by the Cardinals back in 06. Yadiel Rivera toes on the grass at third, and we're underway on a Wednesday night in Miami. That one is low, 1-0. Jay, 9 hits on the road trip. He scored 7 runs. Wei-Yin Chen, 32. He'll turn 33 years old next month. 4 seasons in Baltimore. This is his 3rd season in Miami. Orioles were the team that originally signed him out of Taiwan.
Coming off a start at Coors Field, and like a lot of pitchers that go into Coors Field, he struggled. Went 4 innings, gave up a season-high 9 hits and 7 earned runs in that game.
Jay slaps that foul the other way, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, we talked about Robbie Ray and trying to keep his pitch count down in the early going today. Same thing goes for Chen. He can run up some high pitch counts in a hurry.
Yeah, he does not go deep into games at all. This is a bouncer to second base for Starlin Castro. Yeah, and speaking with Torey Lovello before the game today, Torey, all those years in Boston, saw a lot of Wei-Yin Chen when he was an Oriole. And this guy was pretty good. Chen was a 16-game winner back in 2014 in Baltimore.
He doesn't have a lot of the histrionics that many Asian pitchers do. We've seen guys with all kinds of hesitations. Even our own Yoshi Hirano has a little stop and start in his delivery. Chen is fairly smooth.
Working close to the third base side of the rubber. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop. Got a first pitch fastball. 93 is about the best that Chen has got. Nick in there, 212. He's got 10 home runs. His fastball will average 91. That one misses down and in. Breaking ball. Yes, he checked his swing. He does a good job of mixing up his pitches, Wei-Yin Chen. Sliders, changeups, curveballs, all in nearly equal amounts.
That's something Nick has been doing a lot of lately, looking for pitches up and out over the plate and driving them to the opposite field. We've seen him do that repeatedly on this road trip, especially when he's behind in the count as he is now, 2-2. If Chen would happen to throw something up and out over the plate, that should seemingly play right into Nick's hands.
Goldie on deck, batting third against the left-hander. Dietrich has it at first, 2 down.
Tried to go the other way. Unfortunately, hits it right at Derek Dietrich, playing first base tonight. He had some issues out in left field in the first couple games of this series, so sliding him into the infield tonight.
Justin Bohr sits against the lefty Robbie Ray. Goldie 264. He leads the D-backs with those 17 homers. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Goldie a pair of hits and a walk in the series. He doubled here last night. This is launched foul. That might hit the third deck. Rattles around inside this ballpark.
No danger of hitting anybody up there.
I remember somebody hit one up there a couple of years ago, and Jody was over there trying to find it for about half an hour. Never did. Just got a piece of that breaker.
You know, everybody wants to know the reasons for Goldie's resurgence after that miserable month of May. I think more than anything else, he's just seeing the ball better. Remember, he was checking his swing a lot, half swings a lot, starting his hands before he recognized the pitch. Unfortunately, chases one out of the zone right there for strike three.
Robbie Ray coming up from Miami. Struck him out. Got him. Robbie Ray gets the big strikeout again. Oh, big night here for the D-backs. Your Ram Truck starting pitcher is the left-hander Robbie Ray. Back today from a right oblique strain. His first D-backs appearance since April 29th.
Yeah, it's been nearly 2 full months for Robbie Ray. Notice that strikeout total. Hopefully he picks right up where he left off. 43 punch-outs and 26 in the third before going on the disabled list.
Starlin Castro against the left-hander in a leadoff spot for Don Mattingly tonight. Jumps on a first pitch fastball.
Well, we have something in common with Don Mattingly.
What is that?
None of us worked yesterday.
That's very true.
Don Mattingly, serving his 1-game suspension, was sitting up in a luxury suite last night with Derek Jeter and others from the Marlins front office.
Meanwhile, you were wandering around Key Biscayne looking for a pizza.
There's only one pizza joint on Key Biscayne.
0-2. Here's that breaking ball for a strike. Yeah, the Marlins were involved in a retaliation beanball deal in San Francisco not too long ago, so Mattingly served his 1-game suspension. Just inside, a ball and 2 strikes. Robbie is always standing with his feet wide apart and his hand at the bell. He's sort of unique in that way. You don't see a lot of guys look in for the sign. Usually their feet are together. Robbie's are shoulder width apart.
Well, that pretty much eliminates any kind of a step back or step to the side with that right foot, because he is so wide. He just kind of turns his foot closed as he starts his delivery and then goes right into his windup.
Quick feed right there. One hopper to Nick Ahmed, makes a backhand stop. And Goldie got the tag on the hip, says Tom Hallion at first. Here's the Marlins lineup. It's presented tonight by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Yeah, the second baseman Starlin Castro just let it off with a ground out to short. Brian Anderson, the right fielder, making his way to the plate. Cameron Maybin will be out in left field tonight with Lewis Brinson in center. Derek Dietrich at first base. Miguel Rojas at shortstop. Yadiel Rivera at second base. Brian Holiday doing the catching. And Wei-Yin Chen on the mound. Excuse me, Yadiel Rivera at third base.
Here is the rookie Anderson. Already 4 hits and a walk in the series. Fastball misses off the plate. Anderson 299 and 4 homers. D-backs have the shift on the third base side. Fastball's in there. Anderson now with a 7-game hitting streak. He's hitting over 320 this month. Goldie all by himself on the right-hand side of the infield. This is drilled out to right field for John Jay. E.D. Marshall Jewelers, a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense tonight.
John Jay out in right field. Chris Owings will be in center with David Peralta in left field tonight. Devin Marrero and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Ketel Marte and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. John Ryan Murphy once again behind the plate tonight for lefty Big Game Bob, Robbie Ray.
Batting third tonight, Cameron Maybin, who's in left field. 226 on the year. You mentioned Big Game Bob. Is that a hint about your Valley Honda dealer's key to the game?
Well, it very well could be. What about Bob? What about Big Game Bob Ray? Good to see him back out there again.
Sure is. It's been 2 months. Bob, as he is affectionately known by his teammates. 1-1 on Maybin. Robbie Ray left his start at Nationals Park in Washington on April 29th. In the second inning, it was a strained right oblique, grade 2 strain that kept him sidelined for a couple of months, but now he says he is in a really good shape. Arm feels good, oblique is fine, he's good to go.
That's one thing you find out rather quickly when you go on the disabled list. You are going to be in good shape when you come back off of the disabled list, because those trainers will make sure of it.
Oh, yeah.
Not only has the injury healed effectively, but we're going to make sure that everything else is in good working order before you take that mound again.
The fly ball along the line in right. Jade, if he has room here, and he's got it in foul ground. Good start for Robbie Ray. No score in Miami. First inning in the books for Robbie Ray. No score in Miami. Fans, we've got another great day of World Cup action tomorrow. Fox and FS1 highlighted by Harry Kane and England taking on Belgium, 11 a.m. on Fox. You can stream it live on the Fox Sports app. That's going to be a big game for Harry Kane, Tottenham Hotspur. And it was a very critical day for the Germans. They're done.
Well,
go home. Goodbye. Out.
That's why I scratched them off my initial bracket quickly and went with Mexico, who lives to fight another day, even though they got beat 2-0 today. Thanks to South Korea, they'll advance on to the round of 16.
Here's John Ryan Murphy. I saw you in the hotel lobby this morning watching one of the games on the big TV down there and the other on your phone, because two critical games are going at the same time.
Just trying to keep up as best I can.
Oh, that wasn't Bob, I'm being told? No? Okay.
I was going to go along with it. That's fine.
Well, I want Paul to get the credit. He was down there monitoring things for you. 0-2 on the D-backs catcher batting cleanup. Lobby of our hotel is a very busy place. Folks going in and out to back and forth from the beach on Key Biscayne. A lot of the players' wives, girlfriends, families are here. Long 4-day stay here, so some quality beach time with the family.
And they do have that big screen TV in the corner of the lobby there. And every day I've gone down to catch the team bus. I usually go down a little bit early just to hang around the lobby. And there's always a crowd in front of that big TV watching the soccer games.
Yeah. Wei-Yin Chen, the left-hander. Ahead of John Ryan Murphy, a ball and 2 strikes. That's belted foul down the line. Murphy, from his Yankees days, has in fact seen more of Chen than any other D-backs hitter. Back from when Chen was in Baltimore. They were both in the AL East for a while. John Ryan, 3 for 9 career against Wei-Yin Chen, including a home run. No one else on the D-backs has seen a whole lot of Chen.
Well, they may not have seen him in person, but we know that they've watched a lot of video on the Marlins left-hander in preparation for this start here tonight. Matter of fact, while we were waiting on Torey Lovello for our meeting before the ball game today, all the hitters were in the batting cage going over what they were expecting to see from Chen tonight in this ball game.
Ryan Holiday back behind the plate again. Holiday's got that yellow fingernail polish going.
Has to be distracting with those 4 guys in the yellow T-shirts sitting right behind him.
Those guys have been there for every game.
Yeah.
Those neon green shirts. See those guys back there?
Mm-hmm.
Marlins man is no longer. There was some kind of hiccup with Marlins man and the new ownership here. So the guy in the orange shirt that's always there, he's not there anymore. Popped up behind second. There's Rojas, the shortstop, one away. Although we have had Marlins man at some of our games.
Yeah, we have.
I think he's kind of like a free agent now.
And you would think with the crowds we've seen through the first 3 games of this series, they would welcome anybody into this ballpark regardless of what they wear or what they've done.
David Peralta, 284, 15 home runs. 3 hit night last night. Rojas, the shortstop, almost right behind second base. More of a shade than a shift against Peralta. And Maybin out there in left field is kind of near the line for a left-hand batter. So far over, in fact, he's out of your picture there.
Yeah, slight pull in the infield, the opposite way in the outfield. This is not uncommon. We see a lot of teams do this against David, against Goldie, the other way. But leaves that big gap out there in right center and also right down the right field line.
Gets the call on the low fastball from Dan Bellino. That was well below the knees, but it's strike 2. Got him with a fastball. Second strikeout for Wei-Yin Chen. 2 down. Brings up Ketel Marte. In at second base tonight, 237 and 6 homers. Ketel tripled and scored in Monday's opener, his only hit in the series. That's belted to short, tackled by Rojas. And Chen is out of the second. D-backs and Marlins in Miami, no score. Sunshine, palm trees. Looks like back home. D-backs and Marlins. 4th of July is next week. Celebrate Independence Day at Chase Field, when the D-backs take on the Cardinals. Game time is 7 o'clock, and fans will enjoy the best fireworks spectacular in town after the ball game. Presented by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Get your tickets now at dbacks.com. Bottom 2 at Marlins Park. Lewis Brinson, the center fielder, against Robbie Ray. There's a fastball. Swing and a miss, 0-1. The numbers on Brinson this year, 178. He's got some power, 9 homers. He has singled and walked in the series. Well, clearly Robbie being aggressive in the strike zone here. Coming after Brinson with fastballs.
I missed that big game Bob grunt out there on the mound. There have been times we sat up here in the press box and could hear Robbie warming up in the bullpen.
That was it right there. Breaking ball is in there. He makes short work of Brinson. First strikeout for Robbie Ray.
Got the benefit of the doubt on a high breaking ball. It is all over the strike zone. It's just a lot of umpires won't call a high breaking pitch. That time Robbie gets the call from Dan Bellino.
Derek Dietrich in at first base tonight. 10th in the league in hitting in .303. 11 home runs. JT Realmuto was originally scheduled to play first for the Marlins. He's got a sore left wrist. Had a foul tip in Miami's game at Colorado Sunday. We've not seen him yet in this series, so Dietrich, a left-hand bat, was a late plug-in against Robbie Ray here tonight.
I always say it all the time, take the breaks where they fall. Missing JT Realmuto is a big-time break. Guy was hitting .308, 10 homers, 32 driven in, one of the best offensive players on this Marlins ball club.
And their potential all-star, although Dietrich is hitting .402 since May 31st. He's had a tremendous last 4 or 5 weeks. but in there against a tough left-hander tonight. Fastball just missed away. Dietrich 3 singles and an RBI in the series. He punched out 3 times in last night's game. Robbie getting a little frustrated with himself there. I'm sure there's got to be a tendency in something like this, Bob, to overthrow from time to time. Seemed like he did on that last one.
I think especially early in the ball game, while he still has a lot of adrenaline pumping through his veins, just settle in here at some point. But I've been pretty impressed with what I've seen from Robbie Ray already. Pounding away at the bottom of the zone with that fastball. He's thrown some wicked sliders already.
Fastball up down the line. Peralta's over there, but it's out of play. Yeah, Robbie said his plan tonight, just go out there and put up as many zeros as he can until they take the ball away. And so he'll empty the tank.
Pretty good plan of attack every day you take the ball. Go out there and go as hard as you can, as long as you can.
He's been asked a lot, as has Torey Lovullo, about innings and pitch counts and that kind of thing. We saw John Ryan Murphy tapping his mitt on the ground there. That one was up. Still 2-2.
I wanted to get that chase slider that starts across the bottom of the zone and breaks down and away from the left-handed hitter. Unfortunately, Robbie left it up. Dietrich was able to foul it off and stay alive.
Another one. Keep it down.
There you go.
Good slow breaking ball that time, and Robbie gets his second strikeout.
Now this time he does get that breaking ball down there near the bottom of the strike zone. Bottoms out in the dirt. Dietrich just can't hold up. Much tougher to identify that slider when it's down in the zone as opposed to when it's up in the zone. You pick up the rotation a little bit easier. You recognize that the pitch probably is going to be high out of the zone, but when it's down there around the knees, it's tough to identify.
Miguel Rojas in at shortstop tonight, 251. He's got 7 home runs this year. 3 hits and an RBI in the series. Fastball's in, but it's strike 1, says Dan Bellino. Rojas has played a lot of third this year while Martin Prado was out with a hamstring problem, but their shortstop JT Riddle sits against the left-handers, so Rojas is back at short tonight. Yadiel Rivera on deck. He's the third baseman. Fouled away, and it's 0-2. Well, Robbie Ray, this would be nice if he can strike out the side in the second inning.
It'd be great if he could do it on this next pitch. That would be 25 total through the first 2 innings, which is very reasonable. I mean, we're used to seeing Robbie throw 18, 20, 24, 30 just to get through an inning of work. Yeah, you see a fist pump there. Give me your best fastball right out here.
Rojas fights it off. Jay is out there in right field. Good start for Robbie Ray. 6 up, 6 down at Marlins Park. Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite D-backs are there. Vote at dbacks.com/vote. Catch all the action of the 89th MLB All-Star Game, presented by MasterCard. July 17th, live on Fox. Chris Owings leads off the third against Wei-Yin Chen. Gerard Dyson gets the night off. CO in center tonight. 189 and 3 homers. High fly ball for Anderson in right field.
I watched CO take a couple of rounds of batting practice today, and looks like he was making a concerted effort to drive the ball to right field. Just got under that one a little bit. Sounded like he barreled it, but just got under it, hit it high in the air to right field.
Well, each team looking for their first base hit of the ball game. Devin Marrero in at third tonight. Jake Lamb has the night off. 160 and 6 runs batted in for Devin. Torlovello continuing to rotate days off through the tail end of this road trip. See, that's a low fastball that Bellino didn't bite on. That's ball one. There's Jake Lamb. 3 hits in the series, a double and a home run. Homered here Monday night. In the air, right field. Anderson one more time. Oh, Wei-Yin Chen and Robbie Ray matching each other out for out here. And here's Robbie Ray with 2 outs in the third.
So far in the early going, both guys managing to avoid any mistakes in the middle of the strike zone. Hasn't been a lot of loud contact.
Well, Robbie can make some loud contact from time to time. He does not have a hit this year, but we've seen him launch one from time to time before.
Coming back off an oblique injury, I wouldn't mind seeing Robbie just try to massage one into left field.
Especially considering that's how Clay Buchholz hurt himself in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
D-backs are down to 2 catchers right now. They put Alex Avila on the DL to clear a roster spot for Robbie Ray. Alex has got a hamstring problem that flared up in Pittsburgh over the weekend. They really wanted him to catch Zach Godley last night. Those two worked so well together. But Alex was unavailable last night, and today goes on the DL. Breaking ball caught the corner. Wei-Yin Chen has retired the first 9 he's faced. No score in Miami.
Head to the bottom half of the third here in Miami. Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. We go back to 2003. You want to talk about shock and awe. A 50-minute bottom of the first inning, the Red Sox scored 10 runs before they made an out against these Marlins. Wow. Johnny Damon was 3 for 3 in the first inning with a single, a double, and a triple.
In the first inning?
In the first inning. Whew.
Wow. Yadiel Rivera, the third baseman, will lead off the Marlins third. That is a long half of an inning, especially in the first.
Well, they ended up scoring 14. They scored 10 before an out was recorded, ended up scoring 14 in the inning. Took 50 minutes.
Rivera got into Monday's game late for defense. You saw his numbers this year, 197 hitter. Fastballs fouled back. Now that was in the day when the Marlins played at the football stadium. They are this year celebrating 25 years of Marlins baseball. And they were just showing some highlights from the old football stadium days on the video board here. I made it to one game there as a fan. There's no way that wasn't a terrible place to play. That one goes through Marrero at third into left. Well, we've watched Evan Marrero make some sensational plays down there defensively. That one went right by him.
I would think that has to be an E5. Two hopper hit just a step or two to Marrero's left. That's a play he usually makes in his sleep. Just stayed down. Might have hit the edge of the grass and the dirt right there. That will cause the ball to stay down a little bit lower than you anticipate. Possibly the reason that he fanned on that one. I think they're going to give him a hit.
Yeah, they put a hit up on the board. Ryan Holiday, the catcher. The football stadium looked like a dreadful place to play a ball game.
It was odd, to say the least. I was just telling you between innings, the visiting dugout had a girder that hung down like right in the middle of the dugout. You had to duck to get underneath it. And guys would get excited, or you get somebody distracted and kind of back them up into the girder as a joke. It was not made for baseball, obviously. It was horrible in the afternoon because it rained every day. We took batting practice in the cage every day we were in Miami. Never were able to get on the field before the game. And you knew it going in. You just knew that's what's going to happen at the old football stadium, and you try to get your work in as best you can, get ready to play a ball game.
They had that teal monster scoreboard in left field up against the seats for football that were pushed in and folded on one another. But now they have this spectacular facility here on the side of the old Orange Bowl. Nice block by John Ryan to get back there behind the right-hand batter. 2 balls and 1 strike on the Marlins catcher. Brian Holiday hitless in the series, but he's had an RBI in each of the first 2 games.
Another thing about the old football stadium was, and like a lot of multi-purpose stadiums, when you went from the dugout to the clubhouse, you had to walk across a concrete concourse to get there. Well, after about a half a dozen players slipped and fell because they were wearing their cleats on this slippery concrete, they eventually put a carpeting that went all the way from the back of the dugout up to the visitors' clubhouse there, so guys would at least have some sure footing as they tried to get back into the clubhouse. Relief pitchers loved that ballpark, however, because there was a separate entrance. You could go out into the concourse and go back to the clubhouse, and nobody was any the wiser.
2-1. Get away with murder. Marrero one more time. They get 1 and they roll the double play. Nicely done.
Well, that's what good defenders want to have happen. After you make a misplay, whether it's an error or a rule to an infield base hit, you want that next ball hit to you so you can turn that double play and have a little bit of a redeemer. Nice turn out there by Ketel Marte. Uses the bag to protect himself from the sliding runner.
Well, now they have this beautiful ballpark and new ownership here. There's Derek Jeter doing a spot on Marlins TV just to our left here. Part of the new ownership group. And they have the slogan, hashtag, just getting started. They cleared a lot of payroll, moved their 3 outfielders, Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton. And they are essentially starting over here with the new owner. So the days of the football stadium and girders in the dugout, those are hopefully are long gone here. That's punched foul, and it's 0-2. In fact, Jeter was down on the field during batting practice, had a big news conference, just standing around, impromptu news conference. A swarm of media was all around him. It hasn't been a super smooth transition. Robbie Ray, 3 strikeouts, 3 scoreless. We're in Miami, no score, D-backs and the Marlins.
I wanted an update on an incident that took place way back on Monday in Game 1 of this series. We talked about it on Diamondbacks Live, the pregame show, and I believe some of the reaction will be up on our social media platforms with Fox Sports Arizona. But you remember to my left here in the Diamondbacks bullpen, you guys remember Archie Bradley and the giant shovel recreating the fan?
To the bullpen, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? Well, I talked to Archie about it today, and he said, look, there is a fan that is working, an electric fan in the back here, but apparently he said it was in 4 or 5 pieces. So he decided to, quote, take one for the team because, as you know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one, and he did some personal fanning, if you will, with that giant shovel of many of his teammates out here in the bullpen. Said he had to do it because, remember, I'm sure you guys know that if you fan yourself, you expend more energy doing that than actually cooling yourself. So
yes, that's why there's a member of Bob's staff who has that job for him.
Yeah. And peeling grapes.
Yep.
There's Rojas, the shortstop, and Wei-Yin Chen has set down the first 10 D-backs he's faced.
But I will tell you, I talked to Archie about just how hot it was. Apparently it was even more still, to use that phrase that we use so often when we talk about humidity. And with the roof open on Monday, this place must have been really like a kiln.
Well, it's in Archie's case, as long as there's a restroom back there, we'll be fine.
I am not going there with a 99.5-foot pole. I told him the only bodily fluid we'd talk about today would be sweating, and his reaction to that was on the pregame show. And if you're on the social media with Fox Sports Arizona, I'm sure you'll see it.
I think we're all, pardon the pun, relieved that that's the case.
I'm going to run from that.
Nick Ahmed.
Thanks.
Good work. The shovel incident.
Yeah.
I still can't figure out why they
switch bullpens? Doesn't it make more sense to have your relievers away from the bar area if you're the home team?
I would think so.
That used to be our bullpen. Now it's the Marlins. Maybe they get better service over there. I don't know.
You know, occasionally you will have the bullpen opposite the dugout. Another ball hit hard.
Wow.
Whoa, what a play by Castro.
Nice pick by Starlin Castro. That one was headed for right center.
I just finished that thought quickly on the bullpens. The third base dugout has a clear view straight out to the right field bullpen. So maybe that had something to do with it. You can look right out across the field and see your guys out in the pen, whether they're warming up or out in the concourse eating hot dogs. Or
Yeah, you're right, because that big signage in front of the right field bullpen, which is across from the third base dugout. So you got guys that could hide back there from the skipper. That could be trouble. Here's Goldie, struck out to end the first. Goldie's homered 3 times on this road trip, twice at Angel Stadium, once in Pittsburgh.
hit a long foul home run in his first at bat up into the second deck down that left field line where nobody is.
Baseball's probably still over there. It's funny, this ballpark, it's really beautiful. It is immaculately clean.
Oh, it sure is.
And it's very well organized. I did a lap around the concourse before the game this afternoon, and every concession stand has all the food ready to go, and there's a cashier at every register set to serve some folks, and there's just nobody there.
No.
You feel bad for them.
Counters are all spotless.
Oh, yeah. It's just such a shame. And the poor people behind the registers and the counter, they're just sort of standing there waiting.
Please buy something.
Oh, that one was low. That was ball 4, Dan Bellino. Now it's full 3-2. Bellino's really, for the most part, been giving both pitchers that low strike. Fastball off the corner, missed, and the D-backs have their first base runner against Wei-Yin Chen.
It had to be a tough take for Goldie after taking a pitch. It was a couple inches below the bottom of the strike zone. He takes one just a couple of inches off the outside corner, but that time Bellino called it ball 4.
Is that something that makes him as great as he is? He's just not going to change his approach regardless of a missed call or two or the situation. He's going to stick with the same plan time and time again.
Well, and the bottom line is if he swings at that pitch, what's going to happen? It's probably going to be weak contact somewhere, and that's not what Goldie's looking for. He's looking for balls he can drive hard. He will foul off the borderline pitches with 2 strikes, but he's not going to chase a bad one.
First pitch breaking balls, a strike to John Ryan Murphy. John Ryan, couple of hits and a walk in last night's win. He doubled and drove in 3 runs. Had some really good at bats last night. Torey Lovullo was calling him the right man in the right spot. And now they're down to 2 catchers with Avila on the DL. So you'll probably see Jeff Mathis, of course, with Zach Greinke, who goes tomorrow afternoon here, and probably with Patrick Corbin. Patrick will pitch Friday at home against the Giants, and then John Ryan will get the other 3 guys.
And I didn't specifically ask Torey. I'm making a huge assumption right here, but I would believe that Daniel Descalso would probably be the emergency catcher at this point, which means he's rooting like crazy for Jeff Mathis and John Ryan Murphy to stay healthy.
Descalso could be his own battery then. He's been a good pitcher as well. Usually there's that extra set of catcher's gear. We got to investigate that. They used to have one for Cliff Pennington.
Yeah.
He had his own set of catcher's equipment they took everywhere.
Well, that's one thing I noticed here at the new ballpark. As you walk out the tunnel from the Diamondbacks clubhouse out to the first base dugout, they had hooks on the wall to hang the catcher's gear. A lot of the ballparks, they just put it in a duffel bag and throw it on the ground. Well, it's so humid and muggy here that That turf on the way out to the dugout never really gets completely dry. It soaks through the bottom of your catcher's bag, and then your gear's all wet the next day. They have hooks on the wall. All the catcher's gear was hung up neatly and dry.
Tapped over the mound. Rojas will go to first, and Murphy beats it out. A slow hopper up the middle of the infield. And the D-backs have 2 on and 2 out here in the 4th.
That ground ball up the middle of the field. Looked like a little confusion there. Castro thought the ball was coming to second base. Instead, Rojas goes across the diamond, and John Ryan Murphy can scoot down that line when he's sniffing an infield hit. He beats that one easily.
First base hit for the D-backs. Chance for David Peralta. David struck out his first time up tonight.
We saw almost the reverse in the ball game last night. Ketel Marte fielded a ground ball up the middle with the runner at first base and chose to go to Nick Ahmed at second base, even though Nick was late getting over to cover the bag, rather than throw to first base for the easy out. Extended the inning for the Marlins.
Yeah, they had the shift on, and Nick was just too far away from the bag to get there close enough in time. Boy, fastball right down the middle. David missed it. 1-1. Peralta leads the D-backs in hits and RBIs. He's had a big month. He's got 8 home runs in June. 22 RBIs in 23 games this month. Goldie's at second. Murphy's at first. 2 outs. Missed another fastball. 1-2.
And it's not like it's overwhelming velocity or a tremendous amount of movement. It's a fairly straight fastball. 90, 91, occasionally 92. He's hit as high as 93 in this ball game.
And David's done all right against left-handers this year. He's about 240 versus lefties with 3 homers. Fastball away, missed it. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ketel Marte would be next. That's hit hard, but right at Castro at second. And Wei-Yin Chen strands 2. Still scoreless at Marlins Park. Fans, don't forget, if you can't watch the D-backs on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you locally by Coors Light. Download the free app, take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Robbie Ray and Wei-Yin Chen, a pitcher's duel. Starlin Castro, the leadoff man, leads it off for the Marlins. He grounded out his first time up. Breaking balls, a strike, 0-1. Castro has 3 hits and a walk in this series. He homered here off Zach Godley Monday night.
Came on a Zach Godley curveball. Just hung in the strike zone a little bit too long. Starlin Castro is a really good breaking ball hitter if they're in the strike zone.
Yeah, Zach, for the most part, had a very good curveball here. His 4th straight win. Fastball misses up and away. Robbie, when he's been at his best this year, is attacking with that fastball. Coming right at these guys. That was a good breaker right there, but didn't get the call. 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, first time through the Marlins order, Robbie threw 7 first pitch strikes to the 9 hitters, did not have a 3-ball count, and had 5 0-2 counts. 4 pitches or fewer to 7 of the 9 batters.
Well, there's that fastball. Remember that arm side fastball back in April was really sailing on Robbie, and that sort of became a running theme with him the first month of the year. When he was missing, it would look a lot like that. So a leadoff walk. Here's Brian Anderson. He lined out to right his first time up tonight.
Hey, partner.
Yeah.
J.D. Martinez, number 25 tonight.
Just dingers.
Just dingers.
Well, he's been as good as ever in Fenway.
It's a Red Sox record through the month of June. Wow.
You know, I thought that ballpark might penalize him just a little bit, because as we saw, JD hit so many balls out to right center field, and that's a little bit of a poke in that ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
You don't think of him as your traditional right-hand pull hitter who would just launch one after another over the monster, but he uses the whole field, and he's had no problem.
Yeah, with JD's swing, you would think he would be better suited to Yankee Stadium. With that short porch in right center and right field, he could just flip balls over that short wall.
At the D-backs, even without J.D. Martinez, coming in leading the National League West, 11 games over 500. Robbie behind 2-0 on a good hitter here. Fastball. There's another one that was in there for a strike, but sort of sailed a bit up and away from the righty. And Robbie, in the first month of the year, had times where we watched him struggle with his control, averaging 5.5 walks per 9 innings. His walk rate was way up this year from previous seasons. And like that right there, he would have trouble throwing the fastball for strikes. And Torrey was telling us before the game today in his office that they used this opportunity with Robbie out for 2 months to kind of start over, almost like a mini spring training with his mechanics while he was injured, get back to the drawing board with a few things, and he's starting to struggle with that fastball command here in the fourth.
And it's so consistent. It seems like it would be such an easy fix. I mean, he consistently misses in the same spot. When he loses it, the fastball's up and away to the right-handed hitters consistently.
So they were feeling pretty good about making some progress there, but he's starting to revert to old form a little bit here. He's walked the first 2, and now Cameron Maybin is the hitter.
As a catcher, occasionally you would try to help your pitcher if he was in a situation like Robbie where he's missing in the same spot over and over. try to sit way down and into a right-handed hitter. Really make Robbie finish his pitch and drive that fastball inside to a right-handed hitter. Get him to hit that spot a couple times, and hopefully that opens up the entire strike zone.
Well, Mike Butcher may be reminding him of those things as Maybin steps in. 2 on and no outs. Castro's at second, Anderson at first. Went with a breaking ball and got strike 1. Maybin 226 on the year. You wonder, well, okay, why is he hitting third? Well, he's about 290 this year against left-handers. And Don Mattingly doesn't have a ton of other options. Murphy sets up inside. Slider down low. 0-2.
It's worth a try. Occasionally Starlin Castro will allow his mind to wander while he's playing the game. I think a lot of fans probably recall the game when he was playing shortstop for the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
It was game of the world, and there was actually a shot of Starlin Castro facing the bleachers in left field as the pitch was being thrown.
There's a slow tapper to short. Ahmed will have to settle for 1, and the runners move up. So 1 out, second and third for Brinson, the center fielder who struck out looking his first time. Robbie, if I recall correctly, just was coming right at Brinson the first time with fastballs up and in. Went with a breaking ball down in the dirt. Chased it 0-1.
Well, that's a hitter that's just selling out for a fastball right there. 2 runners in scoring position. He was betting the farm that Robbie Ray was going to start him with a heater. He went ahead and swung even though that pitch was in the dirt, and a breaking ball.
Yeah, based on what he saw the first time, no doubt. Got the fastball in the left-hand batter's box, and he took a hack at that one. Now it's 0-2. Now you would think no need to throw him a strike here, certainly, but you got to be careful about bouncing a breaking ball in the dirt with Castro at third.
I mean, it's really wide open now. You could push him off the plate. You could elevate a fastball. You could bounce another breaker.
That's what they do. Nice block by John Ryan.
I mean, when you get a guy that chases a breaking ball in the dirt and a fastball a foot off the outside corner, it pretty much opens up every attack area.
Robbie right now at 50 pitches, 32 for strikes. He has walked 2, struck out 3, and given up only 1 hit, but that was a routine ground ball that got by Devin Marrero. Should have been an error. That is the only Marlins hit so far. Fastball up, foul back to the screen. D-backs, as with Shelby Miller on Monday, will be monitoring Robbie's workload tonight, how deep into the game he pitches. Depends, of course, on the overall pitch count. There's a soft cap in mind, Torrey told us, but they don't want to get married to a particular number. And they'll clip him if they need to, if he gets stuck in a big inning.
Late time granted by the umpire Dan Bellino. These guys coming off their first start, whether it's Tommy John or an oblique, whatever it is, you really want to avoid that extended, long inning, a lot of high stress pitches. Reaches out and pokes that foul. Once again, swung at the fastball well off the plate. Dangerous Derek Dietrich on deck. Strikeout right here would really help.
Looks like Lewis Brinson wants to oblige Robbie Ray. He wants to strike out. Just put it out there a little bit farther. Some of these pitches that he's fouled off just a little too close to the strike zone. Brinson able just to get a piece.
2-2. Got him. 2 down in the fourth. Here comes Dietrich.
It took a few more pitches than it looked like it was going to, but Robbie gets a desired result. He punches out Brinson. Let's take a look at our pitch by pitch. A half swing at a slider in the dirt, a full swing at a fastball way away, and then Robbie just tries to tease him, chasing pitches around the edges, off the plate. Misses with that slider down and in, but comes right back with one on the inside corner for strike 3. Our nationwide vision, eye on the game. Nice job.
2 down for Dietrich, who was the strikeout victim his first time. Big out for Robbie Ray right here against a red-hot hitter. And Dietrich is a guy who can handle himself against lefties. Right there, better than 280, including 3 home runs versus left-handers. Slugging .491 against both lefties and righties. Chased a slider, and it's 0-2. Robbie trying to strand the 2 walks to lead off this inning. Just a strike away right now. Castro's the runner at third, Anderson at second. 1-2 on Derek Dietrich. That's going to reach the seats out of play.
Four pitches in this at bat so far, all sliders from Robbie Ray. See his high velocity of 94 today, the low of 81 on a slower breaking ball.
Well, at 1-2, he can afford to toss a few more up there, trying to get him to chase one. Fastball is right there. Strike 3. Robbie Ray strands 2. We are still scoreless through 4.
inning, we stay scoreless in Miami. Tonight, the celebration of the D-backs' 20th anniversary continues. Fox Sports Arizona brings you a brand new show on the D-backs' defense over the years. Gracie hosts He Caught the Baseball. It debuts tonight, right after our ball game, right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Ketel Marte leads off the fifth against Wei-Yin Chen. Couple of left-handers matched up here. And nothing but zeros on the board. Each team has one hit. Chen got himself in a bit of trouble in the fourth inning after shutting down the first 11 D-backs in the ballgame. Goldie walked, Murphy singled with 2 outs. He got to Peralta to ground out to win the threat. That's hook foul down the line, 1-2. Ketel Marte, 5 hits, 4 RBIs on the road trip. He has tripled and homered twice. Had a triple here Monday night. It's a good triples ballpark. That one is into left center field. A base hit for Ketel Marte. He's going to dig for second. Here's the throw. It's offline. And he manages to avoid the tag of Starlin Castro. Terrific slide and hustle there from Ketel Marte.
Well, that was an old-fashioned hook slide right there. Huh? Yeah. Ketel Marte turning a routine single into a hustle double right here, busting it out of the batter's box. That's how you get hustle doubles. It's not hustling from first to second. It's hustling from home to first. And look at that slide. Oh, that is a thing of beauty. Away from the ball, away from the tag. Hook the bag with that right foot and hang on. Nicely done. That's pretty.
Marte doubles to lead off the fifth. There's Chris Owings. Ketel had a tough night defensively last night. A couple of dicey throws from second base, so maybe anxious to make up for that here. Wasn't the most crisp defensive game the D-backs have played last night.
Well, the thing is, when it does happen, it is so surprising because it's happened so rarely that the Diamondbacks don't pick up and throw the ball where they're supposed to.
Breaking ball misses away. 1-0 on CO. He flied out his first time up.
Move him. Try to find a way to get him from second to third right here. Boy, with Derek Dietrich drawn in at first base, something Ketel Marte has to be aware of. If CO would happen to hit a ground ball right to Derek Dietrich at first base, it's going to be a tough go for Ketel Marte to try to make it to third. That's why you have to know where all the defenders are at all times.
Reaches out and pokes that one just by Rojas into center. Marte had to hold up just a moment. Owings breaks for second. The throw kicks off the mound, and CO's at second base. The relay came back in from the outfield and hit the back of the pitcher's mound.
Boy, good aggressive read by Chris Owings. A little doink into center field just beyond Miguel Rojas. Ketel Marte had to hold up briefly at second base, and Chris Owings waited to see where that throw was going to go. He saw a little bit of a lollipop throw toward home plate. Fortunately, it hit the back of the mound. I think he was going to make it either way, but a very good read that time by Chris Owings to advance 90 feet.
Good start here to the D-backs 5th inning. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Here's Devin Marrero in at 3rd tonight. Single for CO, takes 2nd on the throw. Bounces a breaking ball in front of home plate. 1-0. Trouble here in the 5th for Wei-In Chen. As Bob mentioned, this is a guy who went just 4 innings in his previous start last Friday in Colorado. Got whacked for 7 runs on 9 hits and only 4 against the Rockies. Chen has made 11 starts. He's completed 6 innings only twice all year. In fact, he's finished the requisite 5 innings just 4 times this season. Lays off a high fastball. Marrero's ahead 3-0. Robbie Ray on deck.
Just does maybe get a piece of that outside corner. That could very possibly have been one of those 3-0 automatic strikes.
Anything near the area code is a strike.
I'd be really surprised if he bites off much more of the strike zone than that at all. He's got a base open, a pitcher on deck.
That's a base hit into center. Marte is home. Here comes Owings. Here's the throw from Brinson. It's a good one. And they cut down Owings at home plate. D-backs take a 1-0 lead.
Boy, that ball was smoked into center field off the bat of Devin Marrero. Really got to Brinson in a hurry out there. You could see Chris Owings hesitate momentarily to make sure that line drive got through the infield, and that made the difference in that play at the plate. They do just get him. Strong throw by Brinson. Holiday all kinds of time to apply the tag.
So the D-backs take the lead. Marrero at second base, 1 out. Here's Robbie Ray.
Boy, good base running again. Devin Marrero seeing that throw going through to home plate. Just turned the corner first, kept on going. Even though they got the out at home plate, Marrero now in scoring position.
Devin gets a single at an RBI, takes second on the throw. Robbie shows bunt. Holiday thought about throwing down there. That's a guy who's a very good throwing catcher from behind the plate, Brian Holiday. Bunts it foul, third base side, 1-1.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
D-backs have scored a lot of runs. 145 runs in 24 games this month. Nearly twice as many as they scored in May. Actually now making 146. That's a called strike, 1-2. Chen over 70 pitches. 2 strikes on Robbie Ray. John Jay, the on-deck hitter. Yes, he offered. Wei-Yin Chen gets his 4th strikeout. Well, still a chance to tack on that second run. It's up to John Jay, who's 0 for 2. Jay has cooled off here now that he's back in Miami. Played his college ball at the U, but he's 0 for 11 in the series so far. You know what they say? It's all about the U.
The U. We've seen John Jay entertaining family and friends down around the dugout during batting practice every day. That can be a little bit of a distraction, no doubt about it. I mean, everybody's glad to see their friends and family going back home. But it can be a distraction, can throw you out of your normal pregame routine.
Yeah, Miami's his hometown. Not only was this where he played his college ball, but this is where he's from. Played his first 6 seasons with St. Louis. He's been since then a Padre, a Cub, a Royal, and now on the D-backs. Chased a breaking ball down low, and Chen's ahead 0-2. Tell you what, Wei-Yin Chen had second and third, nobody out in this inning. If he can get out of this having given up just 1 run, he will take it. Now Bellino does not give him the low fastball. Even though it showed up on our computer as a strike, it's 1-2. Brad Ziegler, former D-back, gets busy in the Marlins bullpen.
It's always so odd to see Brad Ziegler when he first starts warming up, because he throws like a normal human being. He throws, you know, kind of a low 3/4 delivery. We know that's not going to be his delivery when he gets out on the mound.
Nearly 350 games in a D-backs uniform for Brad Ziegler. Rojas keeps sneaking in behind Marrero at second base like there's a play on.
Yeah, that time Rojas just turned and ran to the bag at second, but Chen delivered the ball to home plate. And nothing came of it on that particular play, but as a pitcher, if you see one of your defenders that far out of position, you have to step off the rubber and start over again. Make sure he can get back to his defensive position.
Trying to keep Devin close to that second base bag.
Well, you mentioned it's a good triples ballpark. If John Jay could find that gap in right center or down the line in right, it should be an easy triple. Really giving him a lot of room.
We've talked about how he likes to go to left center field so often. You're right. I mean, Anderson is a football field away from the right field line. Swing and a miss. But the D-backs get one. They take the early lead in Miami.
Robbie Ray with runners at second, third. 4 straight sliders to start the sequence to Derek Dietrich right here. And then he slows down his bat with all those off-speed pitches and zots a 94-mile-an-hour fastball right on the corner for a called strike 3. Our nationwide vision eye on the game.
Robbie has walked 2, struck out 5. At 59 pitches as we start the bottom of the 5th inning. Here's the shortstop, Miguel Rojas. So Robbie have trouble with that arm side fastball sailing on him in the previous inning. In the first 3 innings, he threw only 9 balls. Last inning alone, he had 11 balls, a 24-pitch 4th, but he got out of it. And now is back out there with a 1-0 lead. "61 pitches, 40 strikes. Popped him up in front of the D-back dugout. Goldie calling off Murphy. Where's the shovel? Bullpen yoga. That is, I believe, upward facing dog. You ever try that yoga, that whole Pilates, all that stuff?
I can't say as I have ever tried.
It looks exhausting, doesn't it?
It does. Laying on your back, staring up at the roof.
Those guys are nihilists. Looks exhausting. Yadiel Rivera. He's got the only Marlins hit, and it was a fairly routine ball in the hole that somehow got by Devin Marrero at third. They scored at a base hit, but it likely should have been ruled E5. But Devin bounced back in the next at bat. Holiday came up, hit into a 5-4-3 double play. 0-2. Couple of affiliated rehab starts for Robbie to get back to tonight. The first was June 14th at Visalia. 46 pitches in 2 1/3. Line right to shortstop. Look out, Nick. Well, that was a heat seeker.
Yes, it was. That ball was smoked. You can see Nick. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he doesn't catch that ball, it probably whistles all the way to the fence in left center field. That ball was really smoked.
Here's Holiday, who hit into that 5-4-3 double play in the third. Robbie sent down 5 in a row now since the 2 walks that started the 4th. Robbie, we mentioned 46 pitches in 2 1/3 in his first start for Visalia. After that, he pitched at Reno. That was last Tuesday, so it's been just over a week. 66 pitches in 4 1/3 in that ball game. He had 9 strikeouts. So the pitch count keeps increasing incrementally. A little softer this time for Ahmed. Nice backhand scoop by Goldie. 6 in a row set down by Robbie Ray, who leads it 1-0.
appreciation for all military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Back at Marlins Park, Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, Todd Walsh with you. D-backs lead the Marlins 1-0. 6-2 so far on this 10-game road trip. Devin Marrero has the RBI, a single in the 5th. Diamondbacks a chance tonight to get to a dozen games over 500, heading into the series and road trip finale here tomorrow afternoon. Zach Greinke on the mound against Trevor Richards. Nick Ahmed will start the 6th against Wei-Yin Chen. He's 0 for 2. It is a, you ready for this? It's a 12:05 local start tomorrow.
Oh, that's way too early.
Yeah, that call haven't changed that. Make it 12:10, so we'll get you an extra 5 minutes. So that's basically a 9 a.m. first pitch tomorrow morning. It's breakfast with the D-backs here on Fox Sports Arizona. $80 pitches for Wei-Yin Chen, 55 strikes. Chen's high pitch count this year is 94. He's done that twice. That's knocked into center. Leadoff single for Nick.
The day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACS50 at papajohns.com.
D-backs did not have a base hit until there were 2 outs in the 4th inning, but now 5 of their last 8 batters against Chen have base hits. Goldie has struck out and walked. Fastball away, 1-0. Goldie's hit safely in 19 of his last 20 games, and during that stretch he's hitting .407. And if he's not National League Player of the Month for June, there's a problem.
And win it or not, you'd never know by Goldie's reaction or the way he goes about his business. It makes no difference to him if he gets accolades or not. He just wants to help his team win ball games.
But it would say a lot about this D-backs ball club in 2018 to get the Player of the Month for April. And then again, Player of the Month for June. That would be nice. AJ a couple of months ago, and now Goldie should be the front runner. AJ, as of this week, cleared to resume baseball activities. That was good news. Steven
really
Souza
good
Jr.
news.
is DHing. So things are progressing there. Popped it up. Rojas at shortstop.
Yeah, Steven Souza Jr. went 2 for 5 with a double and an RBI last night in his first rehab game with Visalia.
Still hasn't been cleared to throw at full gas. That's sort of the last hurdle coming off that pectoral injury. John Ryan Murphy singled his last time. Chen's spot is due to lead off the Miami 6th inning. There is no one warming up in the Marlin bullpen. John Ryan hits a ball deep left field. Maybin in front of the bar out there. He's got onto the warning track. David Peralta 0 for 2.
He's 0 for 2, but his last at bat, he hit an absolute screamer right at Starlin Castro at second base, who made a real nice short hop pick to get the out at first base.
Ahmed at first after the leadoff single, 2 outs. This is bounced to Castro this time. And Chen strands Ahmed. Bottom 6 in Miami. It's 1-0 defense.
One nothing Diamondbacks.
Wow, you look a lot like Rodrigo Lopez.
It's amazing. Striking, actually. That is Rodrigo Lopez. And guys, very quickly, I have a story I have to tell you about this picture right here.
Oh, wow. What's that?
Rodrigo with Derek Jeter from batting practice earlier today. And the kicker is I took that photo.
Nice work.
Okay.
Very well framed.
Yeah, I thought so.
J.B. Shuck will hit for the pitcher to lead off the inning. Go ahead.
So there is Derek Jeter. So I was standing next to Rodrigo, and Derek Jeter walked down onto the field, and I just looked out and I said, so how did you do against Derek Jeter? Remember Rodrigo pitched for the Orioles for many years. He goes, oh, not very well. I think he hit almost 500 against me. I used to like to pitch low and away, and that's where Derek wanted the ball. So we chatted some more about it, and there was a foul ball, and Rodrigo said, would you mind taking a picture of me and Derek Jeter? And I said, sure. So we walked over, and they embraced and chatted for a minute, and then Rodrigo and Derek lined up, and Rodrigo looked at me, and he said, well, I don't have my phone. Well, I didn't have my phone. So we're all the way over at the Marlins dugout. I have to do a wind sprint, and believe me, it was a wind sprint to get my phone in the Diamondbacks dugout in a swing and a miss. Derek, meanwhile, is awkwardly waiting.
Oh, that's painful.
Okay, so imagine how I feel.
Oh, okay.
So I walk all the way over. They're still standing there. And imagine my wind sprint's it's not like Carl Lewis.
Yeah, sprint might be a stretch.
Yeah, it was certainly that. So I walked up, I took the photo, and here's, I'm going to leave the booth on this one, and I will remember this as long as I live. He said, and I quote, you ready? Hi, I'm Derek.
Well, that was nice.
I said,
did you say, hi, I'm Todd, or did you go,
I did sort of that. I said, I know, and I said, I'm Todd, and then I collared and walked away. I just thought it was a cool picture. I texted everybody in the evil empire and said, Derek Jeter said, hi, I'm Derek.
Oh, don't get all New York on us.
Just a little bit.
So he'll always remember you as the tired, sweaty guy who
exactly.
handed him the phone.
I just couldn't believe Rodrigo left me standing there like I had my phone.
That's a bad, you know what that is? That's bad wingmanning.
Yeah, so that's why I just threw him under 12 buses on TV. But
Wingmanship.
Yes.
So anyways, I looked it up, or actually I had Brian P. Henry look it up.
Yeah. Member of your staff.
My staff for another half hour or so. Rodrigo Lopez against Derek Jeter in his career. Remember Rodrigo said, I think he hit about 500.
Yeah.
Derek hit 426.
Ouch.
4 homers.
Yeah.
Well, it generally went that way, Yankees and Orioles.
Yes, it did. Anyways, there's my story.
That was pretty good. I got to hand it to you. That was interesting. Visual elements as well.
You can imagine me running across the field to help out a broadcast brethren, right? No.
Well, yeah. I mean, we watch each other's backs out here.
Sure.
It's when we're on the road like this, far from home.
And the media horde that gathers behind the batting cage, anybody that moves quickly is subject to arrest.
Astro knocks that back up the box. Just the second hit for Miami against Robbie Ray. Now, why would you not have your phone? I mean, you can't be leaving your phone around.
I was charging mine. I figured if Rodrigo was going to ask me to take a picture, he'd have his own phone. Derek, we actually had a really good conversation about what's going on here. And
you and Derek?
Yeah, actually we did. Believe it or
so
not.
you kind of bonded there.
For a moment, yeah.
So what did he have to say about the situation here?
We've only just begun.
We're just getting started.
Just getting started. I think
says it right out there on the wall.
Yeah, I think he did say it.
Well, the ownership group that used to have the ball club was not very well regarded here, from what I understand.
Clearly.
So they have a rather enormous PR hurdle over which they have to climb.
It's a big one.
And I think that's a big part of it. And I've talked to a lot of people here, and they say, after a couple of years, fans will come here. They will show up because right now they're still a little angry at the other group. But it's going to take a few years.
I think you were right, Steve. I heard you say a few innings ago, this really is a beautiful ballpark.
Yeah, I think the colors are one thing. It's Miami, and
it fits.
Yeah, it's painted like Miami, but I just love the architecture here.
And I was out in the outfield, and I'm sure when you did your walk around the park, the sight lines are great. They remind me of Chase Field when you're looking in.
Yeah, by the big screen doors out there, sliding glass doors.
I'd heard that Derek Jeter originally wasn't going to be around here every day, but from what I hear, he's here.
This is a deep fly ball to right field. John Jay just shy of the track. And that's allowed out number 2 off the bat of Anderson. Brings up Cameron Maybin.
Did you notice what John Jay did there? Routine fly ball, relatively deep right field with a runner at first base. He got behind the ball just in case Castro decided to tag and try to advance to second base. John Jay wanted to make sure he was in a good throwing position. You don't see a lot of outfielders do that. They camp underneath the ball, they catch it while they're backpedaling, and that gives the runner an opportunity to advance 90 feet.
Maybin 0 for 2. You mentioned the great Brian Henry. Now I understand it. Brian is going to be leaving us soon. He got a nice chance to go back home to Michigan.
Produce games.
Yeah, how about that?
Good for him.
Been producing a pre and post game in some of our games here for several years now, and he's done a terrific job. But I understand that on the pregame show tomorrow there will be a Brian Henry tribute video. Tribute might be stretching it. I think it's a video where they make fun of him, actually.
Well, yeah, he wasn't.
Is he aware of this?
He wasn't until just probably 8 seconds ago.
Well, it gives him all night to dread what's coming up tomorrow. I've seen the video.
Yeah, I have too.
The play.
The thing.
Yeah, the thing.
I've heard the reviews of the video.
It's spectacular, but not in a good way.
Brian has a way of not being able to avoid pictures being taken of him in random
Yeah, he's got that sort of Forrest Gump quality about him.
He really does.
He's always in the photo.
I will say this, and I was going to say it tomorrow. I will miss him. I've had a lot of producers come and go along the way that use this show as a launching pad for, being game producers. And you either get it or you don't. You either figure it out or you can't. The back-to-back-to-back games and the grind that is the road in Major League Baseball, as you guys well know. And he has it, and he will prosper. And Fox Sports Detroit will be better for having Brian come home. And I'm just happy for him to go home. He's a wonderful family man. And those red-eye flights back to Michigan to go watch the Lions are over. He can just drive over there and tailgate in the morning.
Yeah, I agree. Brian he's really worked hard. He's done a terrific job, and we're sincerely sorry to see him leave.
Yeah.
Robbie now over 80 pitches, 3-1 on Maybin.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. It happens down on the field all the time, too. You get close to players or coaches, and they move on, go somewhere else, and you're sad to see them go, but you're happy for the opportunity that they're getting.
No doubt.
I wanted to see if we could get the rights to that Carly Simon song.
That's with the video that we're going to air that we're not
Yeah,
going to
you
air
know,
the
where
music
they,
to.
the Baby, You're the Best, whatever it is.
Yeah, that
Nobody does it better.
Baby, you're the...
one. Yeah, that probably won't work.
Yeah, probably not. But it's quite a tribute. I can't believe someone actually flies across the country to see Detroit Lion games.
I was thinking the same thing. I wouldn't drive across town to see the Lions.
If they played in your front yard.
Unless he's staying at, what is it, Ford Field?
Here's a high fly ball short right. Jay near the line. And Robbie Ray in his return from the oblique. 6 scoreless innings in Miami. Scoreless innings in Miami. Espada due up 4th here in the top of the 7th inning. We'll see if he continues. Fans, you can pitch in to end hunger this Friday during Hunger Awareness Night. Give back with the D-backs and bring 3 boxes of cereal to our game that'll be donated. Help end hunger in Arizona with your donation. And you'll be entered to win a Paul Goldschmidt autographed bat and batting practice on the field. Learn more at dbacks.com/hunger. Mike Butcher and Robbie Ray. Robbie has walked 2, struck out 6, and given up just 2 hits, both singles.
Up to 83 pitches. It's probably pretty close to that soft number that Torrey was looking for from Robbie Ray today. His spot is due up 4th here in the inning. Diamondbacks will be facing a new relief pitcher out of that Marlins bullpen. Former D-back Brad Ziegler making his 37th appearance.
Ketel Marte, Chris Owings, Devin Marrero due up 6, 7, 8. Robbie Ray after that. That'll draw Rivera in from 3rd. Ketel had a hustle double to lead off the 5th. He has scored the game's only run. Came home on Marrero's RBI single. Marte flipping around, batting left-handed for the first time tonight against Brad Ziegler.
Had 2 real good passes from the right side against Chen. Lined out to shortstop in his first at bat, singled and scored in the 5th.
Ziegler tried him to get him to chase that low breaker. CO singled his last time up. Well, Brad pitch Monday's opener. Adam Connolly, the left-hander, former starter, now a reliever for the Marlins, starts to get loose. Full count, 3-2. 1 run, 5 hits for the D-backs. No runs, just 2 hits for the Marlins. Just foul, says Tom Hallion at first. That one almost got him. That would have hit him. You know what would have happened? He would have been in the jackpot.
In the jackpot.
Quick feet.
You got to have quick feet if you're a first or third base umpire. Those line drives come down there in a hurry. You're trying to watch where the ball hits in front of the base, over the base, behind the base. The whole time trying to get out of the way.
Ketel Marte strikes out to start the 7th. Here's CO. D-backs have won 5 of their last 6, 17 of their last 24. 2.5 up on LA atop the NL West. Giants are 4.5 games back. The Rockies have fallen 7 behind. That's tapped back to the mound. Ziegler's got it, 2 outs. Here's Devin Marrero. Looks like Descalso will come out in the on-deck circle, set to hit for Robbie Ray. Yoshi Hirano warming up at the D-back bullpen, so that looks like it's done for Robbie Ray. 6 scoreless innings, 2 walks, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts. High chopper, Rojas at shortstop. We stretch at Marlins Park. 1-0 Diamondbacks. Back in Miami, Steve Berthew, Bob Renly, Todd Walsh with you. D-backs have a 1-0 lead over the Marlins. Series and road trip finale. We're back early tomorrow. 12:10 local start. Breakfast with the D-backs. A 9 a.m. first pitch in Arizona. Zach Greinke on the mound against Trevor Richards. D-backs Live pregame show comes your way at 8:30 a.m. And we are on at high noon.
Baseball and bagels.
How about that?
Double plays and donuts.
Yoshihisa Hirano. We've got some big outs of the ball game last night on to start the 7th inning. Robbie Ray was terrific.
Oh, man, was he ever.
6 scoreless innings, gave up just 2 hits, both singles, walked 2, struck out 6, and threw 83 pitches.
Well, and you look at the box score for Robbie tonight, pounding that strike zone. He walked back-to-back hitters in that 4th inning. Starlin Castro and Brian Anderson was able to pitch around those 2 leadoff walks, but other than that, I thought his command was really good.
Faced 21 batters and threw first pitch strikes to 16 of them.
Yeah, he just had a moment there in the 4th inning where he couldn't find the strike zone for 2 hitters, but immediately got right back in the zone and got out of it.
Brinson struck out twice against him. Unfortunately, Wei-In Chen also pitched very well. 1 run allowed, 5 hits in 6 innings. And so the lead is only 1-0 here in the bottom of the 7th. D-backs got the run in the 5th. Marte doubled, a hustle double to start the inning. Went to 3rd on an Owings single, scored on a Marrero RBI single, on which Owings was thrown out trying to score from 2nd base. A good throw by Brinson in center field. Ketel Marte. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool plays of the game has to be Robbie Ray. 6 scoreless in his first start in 2 months.
It didn't look like he missed a beat. Maybe not as many punch outs, maybe not quite as much velocity as we're used to seeing from Robbie on that fastball, but command was good. The slider was really good. Great to have him back in the rotation.
Still some work to do here. Derek Dietrich, like Brinson, struck out in his 2 at-bats against Robbie Ray. Dietrich punched out 3 times last night. Fastball's a strike. Dietrich at first base. JT Realmuto was the original first baseman. He was scratched. That wrist is still sore. Yoshi had 0-2. All fastballs from Yoshi so far. Here comes the split.
That's right where you want it to after pounding fastballs in there against Dietrich. Throw him an off-speed pitch. Make sure it's down out of the strike zone. Hope to get a swing and a miss. Count still in your favor, 2-2.
Rojas, the shortstop, on deck. Got him. Split finger pitch. 2 down.
Speed up the bat, slow down the bat. That's something pitchers try to do out there on the mound. Our pitch by pitch. 3 fastballs to start the sequence. A called strike, a foul ball up in the zone. Then he misses way wide and then comes back with the slower pitches. 2 splitters down below the bottom of the strike zone. Dietrich cannot hold up our nationwide vision. Eye on the game.
Boy, look at the drop on those pitches.
Wicked.
Just fall right off. Rojas has flied out, popped up 0 for 2. Fastball fouled away.
And by speeding up and slowing down the hitter's bat, you throw him your best pitch, your best fastball. 2 or 3 pitches in a row, he's naturally going to get into fastball mode. You see fastball, your swing's quicker, your swing's quicker, your swing's quicker. Then you slow him down with the off-speed stuff, or you do it the other way around. Start him with off-speed stuff. Slow, slow. You see the bat start to slow down to catch up to those off-speed pitches, and you zip a fastball by him up in the zone. Speed him up, slow him down. That's where we talk all the time about Jeff Mathis and his ability to read swings. That's one way a catcher can really help out his pitcher on the mound.
Right to Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Yoshi, a 1-2-3-7. We're in Miami. It's 1-0 D-backs. Behind home plate here at Marlins Park. D-backs have a 1-0 lead.
They don't let you fish in there. I can't believe it.
You try again?
Yeah.
Don't get us kicked out. That happened last time. Fans don't miss the D-backs and Cardinals 3-game series at Chase Field coming up next week, July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Stick around after the game next Wednesday, 4th of July, for our fireworks spectacular presented by Gila River Casinos. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. Yadier Molina will be there to show everybody how to frame pitches.
Yeah.
And a little kerfuffle over that earlier this year.
Just a tad, yeah.
Here's the left-hander Adam Connolly on to face Daniel Descalso, the pinch hitter, who will bat for Yoshi Hirano to lead off the D-backs 8th inning.
And you may ask yourself, why a left-handed pinch hitter against a left-handed relief pitcher? Well, it's because the only right-handed bat available off the bench tonight is Jeff Mathis, the backup catcher tonight. So Daniel Descalso among the 3 lefties available off the bench. Torrey figures he'll give you the best at bat against a left-handed pitcher, so it's Descalso taking the pinch hit at bat for the pitcher spot.
Yeah, Daniel just under 260 for the year. He's about 245 against lefties, so he can handle himself. Boy, that was a good fastball down and away, but Bellino didn't like it. It's 1-0. Adam Connolly, there's a low fastball. That was a strike earlier in the game. Connolly, we've seen him before several times as a starting pitcher for the Marlins. He's now a very effective reliever for them. Descalso hits one toward the right field corner, and that ball is gone. A home run just over the fence out there for Daniel Descalso, a pinch hit homer, and it's 2-0 D-backs. Just snuck over the fence out there near the right field corner.
A line drive home run that time to right field. Connolly cannot be an easy at bat for a left-handed hitter, but Daniel hangs in there, pulls a pitch back to right field. Anderson gives it a look. It just sneaks over the fence, hits the facing of the bleachers, and drops down behind the right field wall.
Still counts as a jumbo jack. Free jumbo jack tomorrow at Jack in the Box with a purchase of a large drink. A terrific pick there by Dietrich at first. Takes extra bases away from John Jay. Sixth career pinch hit home run for Daniel Descalso. Here's Nick Ahmed, who singled his last time up, 1 for 3.
That's only the second home run that Connolly has surrendered this year. I would venture to guess the other one was a right-handed hitter. I don't think he gives up much against the lefties. He's kind of out of that Andrew Miller, Josh Hader mold. Big, tall, hard-throwing left-hander.
We saw Hader with Milwaukee. He's a handful. Well, for Daniel, his 9th home run this year, and his 3rd against a left-hand pitcher. Fastball's in, 1-1. Nice insurance run right there. 2-0 now in the 8th. D-backs, if they can hang on, will improve to 7-2 on this 10-game road trip with one more to play here tomorrow early afternoon. Archie Bradley in the bullpen. D-backs bullpen got a lot of big outs in the ball game last night. Some of these guys are going to be down tomorrow.
Well, and hopefully with Zach Greinke, the ace, taking the ball tomorrow, you might not need as much bullpen, so might empty the tank with the guys here tonight.
Low fastball, and it's 2-2. Later tonight, Dodgers host the Cubs. Alex Wood versus Kyle Hendricks. Rockies are at San Francisco. Kyle Freeland and Mad Bum. That's out of play. Padres are playing in Texas tonight. Rangers have a 3-0 lead. They're in the 6th inning. D-backs began the day 2.5 up on LA. 4.5 games ahead of the Giants and 7 up on Colorado. Trying to get to 12 games over 500.
Padres are getting no hit through 5 innings by Mike Minor of the Rangers.
We will see San Diego on our upcoming homestand, which starts on Friday. 3 against the Giants, 3 against the Cardinals, and then the Padres are in for 4. Popped up second base for Castro. Here's Goldie. Goldie walked in the 4th. He's 0 for 2 tonight. We just saw the Pirates. They are trailing the Mets in New York 3-1. Benches emptied in that ball game last night. New pitcher on his way in for the Marlins. Back after this.
Right-hander Drew Steckenrider on to face Paul Goldschmidt with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Steckenrider's 38th appearance of the year, a 3.41 ERA. Fastball at 95 is a strike, and it's 1-1. Goldie 0 for 2. He walked in the 4th. Fastball right down the middle, 1-2. Steckenrider has been a nice piece for Don Mattingly in this bullpen. Last 16 games have been scoreless. Over 14 1/3 innings. Fastball's high. If you are a believer in the hold stat, Drew Steckenrider is 2nd in the National League. There's a high fly ball deep to center for Brinson, drifting over toward right center field. And that's the end of the top of the 8th. It's time to bring in the beard. We've seen Hirano. Now Archie Bradley on his way in to pitch the bottom of the 8th. D-backs lead it 2-0. Set for the home half of the 8th inning at Marlins Park. No post-game show tonight, fans. Instead, we continue our celebration of the D-backs' 20th anniversary. Fox Sports Arizona has a special brand new show hosted by Gracie. It's entitled He Caught the Baseball, a look at some great D-backs defense over the last 20 years. It debuts right after our game here tonight on Fox Sports Arizona. A lot of great catches in that one. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Here's Archie Bradley to face Yadiel Rivera, the third baseman. He has one of the 2 Miami hits in the ballgame. Archie's 40th appearance of the year. There's the curveball, 0-2.
Get off me, Paul.
That was a heat seeker coming right at him.
I think everybody's okay. That one really whistled into that first base dugout.
We have the protective netting, but the netting goes behind the dugouts in front of the seats. Archie, a high fastball that gets the strikeout.
It just overpowers him, that at bat. A low fastball for a called strike, a high breaking ball for a called strike, and then just rears back and throws it as hard as he can to get the strikeout.
The catcher, Holiday. He's grounded out twice, once into a double play. Pitcher spot is behind him, and Justin Bour, the big left-hand batter, is in the on-deck circle for Miami. Bullpen busy again for the Marlins. Tehran Guerrero, former Padre. There's Justin Bour, homered here Monday. That's tapped to third. Devin Marrero down there. 2 down for Archie. Now Bour goes back into the dugout with nobody on base. And JT Riddle, who we've seen at shortstop in this series, left-hand batter, will take the at-bat. He'll bat for Steckenrider. Don Mattingly will wait perhaps to try and use Bour for the 9th inning. If they can get a runner on ahead of him, he'd be the tying run at the plate, could tie up the game with 1 swing. No sense in burning that bat right now with the bases empty and 2 outs.
False alarm, Justin. Have a seat.
Archie, 11 pitches, 10 strikes. Riddle has 3 hits and a walk in this series. He doubled last night. That rare Archie Bradley slider.
Yeah, that's why it took so long to get to the pitch he wanted to throw right there. John Ryan Murphy called fastball in away. No. Called curveball. No. Archie wanted to try that slider.
Got it in on him, then goes fastball away. 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3/8 for Archie. D-backs lead the Marlins 2-0. Hotels and Casinos game summary. Robbie Ray, his first start since the end of April, throws 6 scoreless innings. Gave up only 2 hits, had 6 strikeouts. Yoshihisa Hirano, now a 24-game scoreless streak that ties a D-backs record. Daniel Descalso, his 6th career pinch hit home run. And the D-backs have a 2-0 lead as we start the 9th inning here at Marlins Park. New pitcher for Miami, the right-hander Tayron Guerrero, acquired from the Padres in July of 2016, part of the Andrew Kashner deal. And this guy can put up some numbers, 50 strikeouts in 36 innings, but an ERA at 4.25. John Ryan Murphy, the cleanup man, leads off the D-backs 9th.
Boy, easy gas at 97 right there.
Boy, easy might not even begin to cover it. Effortless. 50 strikeouts, 36 innings. .98 off the plate. Guerrero averaging 12.5 strikeouts for every 9 innings pitched this year. Native of Colombia.
I think this is a breaking ball right here. Thought I saw a slider. Ooh, he hung it up there, belt high inside part of the plate. Of course, after you've seen 97 and 98 on the first 2 pitches, there's no way you're going to be ready to pull the trigger on a hanging slider. But now that he's seen it, maybe a little better idea for John Murphy. Fastball up.
It was up 2-2.
That's one of those non-competitive pitches. I mean, it may accomplish the changing of the eye level. John Ryan Murphy looking up at that 98-mile-an-hour heater, but it's so far out of the zone, he had no thoughts about chasing it.
Don't forget, early start tomorrow. D-backs live pregame show at 8:30 a.m. First pitch here is 12:10 local time. 9 o'clock start back home in Arizona. Zach Greinke and Trevor Richards. 2-2 on the catcher, John Ryan Murphy. A little half swing out to the mound, Guerrero. Retires Murphy. Brings up David Peralta. Peralta 0 for 3 tonight. Marlins will have the top of the order due up in the home half of the 9th inning. Castro, Anderson, Maybin 1, 2, and 3.
And as you said, Justin Bour still available for Don Mattingly off the bench. That's why you don't want anybody to get on base, because he would hit for Maybin or Brinson in the 3 and 4 spot, where a lot of managers never hit for their 3 and 4 hitters.
Saw Brad Boxberger getting ready in the bullpen.
That's one of the things advanced scouts can let a manager know before a series starts. Who in the lineup will the opposing manager pinch hit for? You know, sometimes there are certain guys, you know, Goldie being one, David Peralta. You're not going to see David Peralta get pinch hit against a left-handed pitcher. He's going to take the at-bat. Same thing for Goldie against righties. But you look at this Marlins lineup, and we mentioned it early on in the show, Maybin and Brinson hitting 3-4 don't really put up the kind of numbers you would expect middle of the lineup hitters to put up. So he would drop Justin Bour in there for either one of those spots.
Missed a spot at 98. And it's 3-1 on Peralta. Ketel Marte on deck. '97 is wild. It's a 1-out walk. Well, I know oftentimes Torey Lovullo will bring in a particular relief pitcher, hoping that the other manager will use a particular pinch hitter maybe earlier in the game than he would like to, and Torey tries to get that skipper to burn one of his best pinch hitters. All about the matchups. He talks about that all the time. If I bring in this guy, maybe he'll use that guy and then he won't have him for later. Some guys bite, some guys don't.
Yeah. It's all part of a calculated risk you take as a manager. You know, you run through all the scenarios in your head. If this, then that. What matchup do I like better? Which matchup does the opposing manager like better? And how do I avoid that?
And that's where all the data and the analytics come in. Every possible matchup is color coded. All the information is put into a computer and rounded out to something. Numbers get crunched and you figure out what are the best scenarios that he could have at his disposal. Checking things out right there. This is popped way up for Castro.
And he just missed that one. I think he might have been looking for that breaking ball because his swing was timed perfectly. He just got underneath it and skied it high in the air to the right side of the infield.
Chris Owings singled in the 5th. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Peralta, the runner at first, and 2 outs.
Eric Hosmer of the Padres has broken up Mike Minor's perfect game with a 1-out single in the 7th inning.
Padres in Texas tonight. 99 in is a ball.
This should be a good matchup for CO. He likes high velocity. This guy is pumping them in there in the high 90s with regularity.
Got his fastball and took a big cut. 1-1. Guerrero's thrown 17 pitches, only 8 of them strikes. .99 in on the hands, and it's 2-2. 100 down and away.
A little bit more of a defensive swing that time by Chris Owings. Fastball at triple digits out over the plate and down, just able to get a piece.
How about this?
I mean, that third pitch, an 87-mile-an-hour slider, harder than a lot of guys' fastballs. But you see a guy like this, and I'm sure the Marlins feel this way. If you could just harness all that ability and consistently keep him in and around the strike zone, you'd really have something.
At the breaking ball again, waved at it, and that's the top of the 9th inning. Brad Boxberger on his way in with a 2-0 lead. D-backs trying to close out a 2-0 lead, and here's the closer Brad Boxberger to face the top of the Miami order box. 18 saves on the year, a 3.49 ERA.
Gonna have to work his way through the top of the Marlins order. Starlin Castro followed by Brian Anderson, and then we'll see Cameron Maybin, Lewis Brinson in that 3-4 spot. We'll see what Don Mattingly decides to do depending on how the inning unfolds.
D-backs just got a 3-0 shutout win in Pittsburgh on Sunday, and trying to win 2-0 here, see if they can blank the Marlins. Starlin Castro, who has walked and single, leads it off for Miami.
This is about as straight up defensively as the Diamondbacks play anybody on this Marlins roster. Chris Owings in center field, shaded a few steps over to the gap in right center, but everybody else playing straight up.
Fastball misses in. Boxberger behind 2-0. He got his 18th save in the ball game last night. Threw 11 pitches to get 3 outs. Fly ball, pretty deep left field. Peralta will watch it go. It clears the Clevelander. The 5th of the year for Castro, his 2nd home run in this series. And the Marlins are on the board. It's 2-1.
I mentioned earlier tonight and earlier in this series that Castro's a good breaking ball hitter if it's a strike. Also, if he has a count in his favor and can cheat for the fastball, he's capable of doing some big damage. He satellites this ball out there over the Clevelander.
He has walked, singled, and homered tonight. Now here's Brian Anderson 0 for 2 with a walk. Lays off a high fastball. Andrew Chafin has started warming up quickly in the D-back bullpen. Justin Bohr has come out in the on-deck circle. He will hit for Cameron Maybin. Home run by Castro. Now Boxberger behind on Anderson, 2-1. Anderson leading the Marlins in hits. Fastball misses. Behind 3-1. You really don't want to put anyone on the bases ahead of Bohr, who would be the winning run at the plate. Got a fastball and missed it. Full count, 3-2. Chafin is ready. So this could be Boxberger's last hitter regardless. Bohr will hit for Maybin. Chafin is ready in the bullpen. And now Bohr is announced. 240, 13 home runs. Nothing from the D-back dugout. He's the winning run at the plate. Bohr homered off Shelby Miller Monday, his only hit in the series.
Mike Butcher's probably going to join this mound meeting. This has become customary for the Diamondbacks. Anytime one of the catchers goes out to the mound, Mike Butcher quickly joins them. Make it into a full-blown legitimate mound visit.
Well, you've got the right hand hitting Lewis Brinson on deck, the lefty Derek Dietrich behind him, and Chafin ready in the bullpen.
Because he's used Shuck, Riddle, and now Bohr off the bench. Derek Dietrich is the only lefty in the lineup after Lewis Brinson, and then you've got a streak of righties after that. JT Realmuto is still available off the bench, although I don't see him swinging a bat or wearing a helmet. He's just kind of pacing around in that third base dugout. Not sure of his availability. As we mentioned, he was in the initial starting lineup, but then was scratched close to game time.
Got that sore wrist. Torrey with his lefty ready, sticking with his closer against a powerful left-hand batter. And Boxberger's behind 2 balls and no strikes. Change-ups at the knees, 2-1.
Boy, I almost hate to give you these numbers, but Justin Bour is a pinch hitter this year. 4 out of 7 with 3 homers.
Ouch.
Ouch, babe is right. Good pitch.
And what did you like about it?
Yeah, off speed. I mean, the count 2-1. That's kind of a swing count. It can go either way. Some hitters look at that as an advantage for them. Other pitchers look at it as an advantage for them. And the fact that Boxberger can throw that splitter when he's behind in the count, 2-1. Bour's looking for a fastball. He can lift in the air to right field. Got way out in front that time.
Oh, he put it right there. What a pitch. 2 beautiful pitches back to back when he really needed them. And that's the first out in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, that one almost looked like it had a little bit of tailing action back toward the corner. Yeah, it did. Perfect pitch.
Now here's Brinson, the center fielder, who was 0 for 3. Brinson struck out twice against Robbie Ray, grounded out against Yoshi Hirano his last time up. That one almost hit him, gets to the backstop. Anderson moves up. He's the tying run. Wild pitch.
We haven't seen Boxberger miss that badly all season. Might have just landed funny out there on the mound. Not sure what caused that, but that pitch sailed up and in, very nearly clipped Brinson that time.
That's a big 90 feet.
Yeah.
Now a single can tie the ball game. He's behind 2 balls and no strikes. Fastball right there.
That's not fair. As a hitter, you get a count in your favor. You're looking for a fastball, something you can really drive, and Boxberger dots it right on the outside corner at the knees.
Popped it up back here over the screen. 2-2. As we saw earlier, Brinson in these situations will chase a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch down below the knees. Bearclaw, the closer, starts to get loose. Anderson, the tying run, back there at second. Bounces it to third. Marrero looks him back. And Boxberger gets out number 2. Here comes Dietrich. Got Chafin in the bullpen if you want him for the lefty here. Tying runs at second, winning runs at the plate with 2 outs. Mike Butcher on the phone with Mike Fetters. Dietrich has struck out all 3 times he's been up. He punched out 3 times last night as well.
That looked like a 2-strike swing.
It was very defensive, wasn't it?
Yeah, like you got fooled by the pitch. It's too close to take. Just try to get a piece of it and foul it off. Not the aggressive swing you're used to seeing on a first delivery.
This is a guy who since May 31st is hitting .402. Lifted in the air, right field, John Jay. And Brad Boxberger walks the high wire, strands the tying run at second base. And the D-backs get the win. They take it 2-1. And they improve now to 7-2 on this 10-game road trip.
Boy, and don't forget the outstanding performance by Robbie Ray to start this ball game today. Looked like vintage big game Bob tonight. He was dealing.
And Boxberger nails it down. D-backs get to a dozen games over 500.